I'm Alan Weiss, and this is the writing on the wall. Welcome to the Writing on the Wall. This is episode 34, wherein I save the legal profession. That's right, as a service, I am going to save the legal profession. From the time I was in grammar school, people told me that I ought to be a lawyer. They said, you argue well, you make rational kinds of decisions, your debate is good. And in high school, they said you ought to be a lawyer. And in undergraduate school at Rutgers, I took political science, which is a natural precursor to the law. And so in my junior year, whenever you take them, I took the LSATs, the legal aptitude test, I guess, and I aced it, killed it, and I got a full scholarship to Rutgers Law, a full boat to Rutgers Law. And that summer, after my senior year, I realized I didn't want to be a lawyer. Torts, research? I don't think so. And so I went to the Dean of Admissions at Rutgers Law in Newark, New Jersey, and I said, Dean, give the scholarship to someone else. I don't want to be a lawyer. And I'll never forget, she reached across the desk and tried to grab my wrist and said, are you crazy? You have to be a lawyer. And I jumped back, ran out into the streets of Newark, and I've been pretty well since. But here I am, I'm going to try to be of help. Do you know, I've been a consultant since 1985 on my own, rather successful, never once had a legal firm for a client, never once had a legal firm as even a speaking audience. Now, why would that be? I'm going to tell you why, because lawyers don't make any sense in terms of their business operation. I was in Sydney, Australia 6 months ago, and I spoke to 500 accountants in a ballroom at the Hilton. Talked to them about value-based pricing. Talked to them about value to the client. They loved it. Loved it. Standing ovation. Later that same week, I addressed 150 people in the Australian Legal Management Professional Association. Same material. And they stared at me with their mouths open. Accountants understand. Lawyers don't. That's not good. Now, I have excellent attorneys. Like my attorneys, they do a great job for me. Trademark, litigation, incorporation, they're wonderful people. Lawyers can be very nice people. But for free, for absolutely free, for no charge, I'm going to share how lawyers can save themselves. 10 points. Number 1, stop billing by the hour. That's not your value. Your time is not your value. If you bill by the hour, you cap what you can earn. If you bill by the hour, there's a limit to how much you can bill. Just before this economic downturn, some lawyers in New York said, well, we'll bill at $1,000 an hour. It was a publicity stunt. The senior partners at the best firms bill $600 an hour, but come on, your value is not your time. And so lawyers who bill in 15-minute increments are bad enough. In Australia, they bill in 6-minute increments. This is insanity. Number 2, stop talking input and start talking output, like any business person should. I don't want to know about your research. I don't want to know about the kinds of motions you have to file. What I want to know about is the outcome of this particular case, of my particular issue. Will my copyright be protected? Will I have ownership of the property? Can I go on with my business free of my partner? Whatever it is, what's the output? Because that's the real value. So stop talking legal, number 3, and start talking English. I don't want to hear about torts and appeals and appellate and the judges. I want to hear about what's in it for me. How will my life be better? Is there some reason you can't talk that way? Number 4, return your calls. There's a conceptual breakthrough. Promptly. Who are you not to return a client's calls? And don't tell me you're always in court. You're not. Any professional services person returns calls promptly. And especially the client of a lawyer would like some feedback on occasion. Number 5, stop billing for stupid things. An example. Here is a bill from one of my really outstanding attorneys. Last month, I owed $2,583.29. Perfectly legitimate, all billed by the hour, but he did great work. And this month, I owe $867.21. He's protecting my intellectual property. He's stopping the evildoers who are copying my stuff. But when you look at the breakdown, which he so kindly provides, there's $36.79 charged for internet research. There's 42 cents charged for postage. Now, last time I looked, 42 cents for postage represented a stamp. You're charging me for a stamp? Be a man. Round it up to the next 1,000. Stop charging for ridiculous expenses. This isn't some kind of shopping cart. Number 6, Hire staff who believes that clients are good and not evil. And so have somebody pleasant on the phone. Have a nice message on your machine. Have somebody who gets back to clients in your absence and is polite to them. Number 7, stay in touch with past clients. Just because a case is ended doesn't mean you can't stay in touch with them. They might have referral business for you. They might have something nice to say about you. Stay in touch with people. Don't just assume they're gone forever. Number 8, jettison dead wood in the firm. That's right. Get rid of people who aren't bringing in business, aren't treating clients well. Don't make this a sinecure. Don't make it a tenured position. Have exciting people in the firm. Exciting people in law. Believe me, it'll work. Number 9, you need rainmakers. You need people who bring in business. You need people who attract customers, no matter what kind of practice you're in. And that leads me to number 10. Diversify your firm's practice so you can handle a lot of different kinds of law. Look at the economy. One thing's up, another thing's down. There's contract law, there's environmental law, there's marriage, there's estate, there's mortgage. Handle as much as you can. Be a diversified practice. Don't turn people away. Charging more for a body to go do something than you're paying them in salary and calling that your profit is primitive. It belongs in the Middle Ages. Charge for value. It's moronic to expect anyone to believe that you're really billing 90 hours a week. I don't believe it. And why should you? How can you lead a life? I don't want a lawyer with no life. You're not billing 90 hours a week. Bill on a different basis. Why spend all that education, all that time you've invested in being a fine professional to work in a sweatshop? And some of you have created your own sweatshops. Do you know? And here's the killer. Most members of Congress are lawyers. Most members of the Senate are lawyers. That should tell you something. You got to clean up this act. Well, what I'm telling you is true. I know it's unpleasant, but come on. What are you going to do? Sue me? Koufax, come on, Koufax. Let's go, Koufax. Come on, Koufax. Good boy.